316. Law as Regulation. Chalcedon Report number 162, February 1979. Biblical law requires restitution. Humanistic law has some man-conceived alternatives to God's law. First, as we have seen, law is held to be a means of reformation. Man is to be saved by legally compelled reformation. Second, another humanistic approach to the problem of law is salvation by regulation. The purpose of the state and of law is seen as prevention. By means of a multitude of rules and regulations, the humanistic state proposes to control man so thoroughly that sin will become impossible. Men will be good because no other option will be open to them. Superficially, this principle has been with us for centuries, and some aspects of it have been adopted by many Christians. To go beyond God's law is to play God, and to hope for salvation by man-made means. Thus, temperance is clearly required by God's law. Law-enforced prohibition is another matter. It is not liquor which turns men into drunkards, in the moral sense, but intemperate men who use liquor to become drunkards. Guns do kill, but gun control does not alter the murderous heart of man. When we stress the legal solution, we underrate or bypass a religious answer. We then give ourselves and society a false emphasis. But such regulations are superficial when compared with the current trend in legislation. The citizen, the labourer, the industrialist, the farmer, and every producer is surrounded by a vast network of rules and regulations. Moreover, we cannot understand the meaning of this plan of salvation by regulatory laws unless we recognize its religious nature. These humanistic lawmakers believe themselves to be the very soul of benevolence and nobility. They want a good world for all of us, and it pains them that we misunderstand their motives. They are religiously governed, and their faith rests, first, on a belief that man can be saved. Bad as man's plight may be, man can be salvaged, and even more, perfected. With this salvation and perfection, man can enjoy life on this earth as never before, and a world order with world peace is a very real possibility and a necessary goal. Second, the salvation of man can be best or only accomplished by man, and the human agency best suited for this function is the state. The state is thus modern man's true church and saviour. Politics becomes dominant in human interest and action whenever men see salvation in humanistic terms. Then the cry is, "Oh, Baal, save us!" We fail to comprehend the direction of modern politics if we do not see that the state is humanistic man's agency for self-salvation. Third, for the state to become an effectual saviour, it must control every area of life and thought. This means that laws must regulate all human activities and direct them into approved and salvific channels only. Accordingly, regulatory laws govern education, economics, agriculture, production and consumption, health, welfare, and all things else. This means, too, the progressive regulation of the press and of religion. Increasing status efforts whittle away by regulation at every freedom of the press and of religion, because humanistic salvation by regulation leads step by step to total regulation for total salvation. In the earlier form of humanistic law, law as a means of reformation, prisons were made into the new monastery for the reformation of lawbreakers. Like the monk, the prisoner faced a totally prescribed life as a regimen of his salvation and sanctification. This concept of law as reformation has been expanded to circumscribe all men. Law, salvific law, is now the salvation of man by the total regulation of all men. The monastery was and is a voluntary place, and its roots are in self-regulation, something the humanists forgot. In the, quote, great society, end quote, of humanistic man, all the world will be turned into a prison, with total regulation by total law. Of course, the humanistic reformer believes that our current protests against these regulations is evidence of sin on our part, but time and humanistic law will change us all. and we will rejoice, each of us, in our well-regulated nook or cell. As a result, all over the world, the humanistic legal reformers are working busily for our salvation. Every day, a multitude of new regulatory laws surround us to hem us in from sin. In the United States of America, the Federal Register is evidence of this. Not content with the slow-moving pace of Congress, with its hundreds of new laws, the administration and the bureaucracy issue new regulations by the thousands through the Federal Register. How great is their concern for us? They plan to save us, come what may. Like it or not, men will get humanistic salvation unless they find theocentric salvation through Jesus Christ. Our option is not between God's salvation or none, but between God's plan and man's plan. The fall originated in the creature's plan for his own salvation, Genesis chapter 3 verse 5, and the pages of history give us the grim struggle between various man-made plans, and also, and supremely, the struggle between man-made plans and God's eternal plan through Jesus Christ. Man, in rejecting God's plan, issued his own. By means of his own law decree, man plans to save himself. If the state is anything but Christian, it will seek to impose on all men a man-made system of law and salvation. The choice is between God's law and man's law. It is between Christ and Caesar.